Every time you get a chance to witness this scene, you feel lucky. Nothing like it.
Man, this is what it's all about. This is what college football is all about. I've said this is the best scene in the country.
I love and appreciate you guys. Understand this. We didn't get here without every single person in this room. We got here together. Let's finish this thing together. Everybody got me? Let's go do this thing.
Welcome back to Whiteout Weekly, and we are sadly in our first losing week, and I just don't know how to feel about this one. There's so many variables that go into this that could have gone either way, and even though we lost, the worst part about it is that this was a what if loss, and I can't sleep at night when it's a what if loss. That's why I look this way. I haven't been able to sleep in 2 freaking nights because what if Sean Clifford played that entire game? We could be number 2 in the nation right now. You never know. He had 2 picks. He wasn't perfect, but bounced out midway through the second quarter, and Taekwon takes over, and it's just a fucking crash from there.
Yeah, I mean, you look at it, like you said, Clifford wasn't playing his best. I mean, that first play, throwing that pick, it was like, oh, God, here we go again. But from the timing for the groove that they were setting from when he went out, they were up 17-3. I think the total yardage, was 249 to like 48 in favor of Penn State. Easily controlling that game.
Yeah.
It was, hey, this is ugly, but the defense is holding them in it. And if the offense can just get going and just maintain some drives,
that was what we were saying. It's going to be a slobber knocker. It's going to be a slobber knocker of game, and that's what it was. And it's just there's so many freaking variables, and I don't know. I just hate Iowa so freaking much.
Yeah, and it didn't help with the field position battle. So the punting game, they were pinning us inside the 5, and those first couple drives with Roberson just in the you could just see the nerves kind of overcoming him, and it just felt like a very, very slow, torturous death. Even up 17-3, when they went into the half, we came out not seeing Clifford in street clothes, and Roberson back out there. It was like, oh my God, it was literally, can the defense hold the lead for 30 more minutes? And it felt like it was asking the world of them, and they almost fucking did it. That's
why I've been fucking backing up this defense all year, man. They almost it was death by 1,000 paper cuts. That's what it was, and that's the worst way to die. And maybe not the worst, but
the final
terrible.
46 plays of the game, they gained 50 yards. Compared to the 248 in the first half. They just could not get anything going. And we've talked all year. The conversation has all been about Clifford. Mm-hmm. And little did we know that we probably should have been talking about, hey, what if Clifford gets hurt? Who's coming in?
We did bring it up when he went in, and he didn't look that great. And we were like, all right, like might need to work on him a little bit. But that's what I can't put all the blame on this young kid. Part of it has to be on the coaching staff. Like what has this kid been doing in practice that he's so unprepared? He finishes with a 27.7 passer rating. When you spike the ball into the ground, you get a 39.6. Like what is the coaching staff doing with him every day? That he's that unprepared.
The false start penalties. They couldn't get a snap off. It was like
that too.
It felt like they were bringing in someone from JV to run the game.
It was adequate.
It was the explanation after
that could have been his fault too, though. You know what I mean? That could have been his, like, the snap count got all messed up because he's in.
Well, the explanation after the game that we got from Franklin was Roberson's not as loud as Cliff. And you saw Roberson was doing the clap count, which in a hostile environment doesn't work as well. But to be in a position where your backup quarterback can't get the line and the offense in sync to snap the fucking ball, and you're losing 15 consecutive yards on one drive for false starts, it's inexcusable.
Yeah, I think that's when I officially just like blacked the game out of my mind. I was like, all these false starts, I can't deal with it. I'm forgetting everything beyond this point. I can't do it anymore. But we did get some news today from James Franklin press conference about defensive tackle PJ Mustipher, if you want to fill us in on that.
Yeah, so knowing Franklin, he doesn't disclose the really injuries at all, so he didn't really get much into this one he doesn't get into it unless it's going to be a severe absence or an extended absence. So just basically disclosed to me that Mustipher will be out for the remainder of the season. So, which brings a little bit of light. And before we get in that, he didn't touch on Clifford. He avoided it, just like many probably would have soon. I was
going to ask that next.
Yeah, there was some media availability at practice today, and 14 wasn't out there. It was Roberson and true freshman Christian ji'ayir from the Bullet School, Maryland. So the way he left it is it's going to be a competitive bye week to see who gets those snaps. So it's gonna be really up to Yursich to put a game plan in place, because all indications are that it's not going to be Cliff against Illinois.
And even with Taekwon, like he was missing wide open guys. Yeah, like he was scheming it up still. Yeah, so you can still do it even with a bad quarterback. But all right, so. If anyone has gone to Penn State, you know the Willard preacher, the guy who stands on the corner outside of the Willard building and just spouts nonsense. People film him.
Don't have sex. The Bible says not to.
He's ripping on every girl like wearing like shorts above their kneecaps. Like
you're all
ripping on everybody. Yeah. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to be the Willard preacher on Iowa right now, because I am so pissed at Iowa right now. I had so much respect for them. They had a great program. They did what they did. They were not sexy at all. Just ran the ball, very quiet, doing what they do. But all this team does, they're not going to win a national championship. They're not. They're just not. Spencer Petras is not going to be a national championship winning quarterback. Mark my fucking words on that. Never.
They're not the number 2 team, Luch.
They're not
the number 2 team.
But what pisses me off the most, because I hated playing them, but I always respected them because they did what they did. They did it the right way. They held their heads high every time, acted like they were in the moment before. And now we have their fucking head coach defending the fans who are booing PJ Mustipher, who's now out for the season. And then Ebikete, who went down, for basically being gassed out. Why would we choose the 2 best players on our defense to be like, oh, yeah, you sit down, you gas out now? Like, that makes no fucking sense at all. And then he says the Hawkeyes fans who booed Penn State injuries on Saturday, saying fans, they're not stupid. We know what's going on. We smelled a rat. Get out of here. You were not this 2010, 2011 Chip Kelly high-tempo offense that we have to worry about. We held you to 2.4 yards per carry. The most that would have happened if you got back to the line of scrimmage, you get 2 yards and it's 2nd and 8. It doesn't matter. Like, that is out of control, that he's thinking that his insane offense is making our guys gas. Get out of here. And the last thing I want to say is one of their head coaches, just classless move. I think it was when AK went down. He literally looks at all the coaches and you can hear him out the words. Did you see him? And then fakes a falling down. Like, you're just disrespecting the sport almost at that point. Like, I get it. If I was on the other side, I would definitely be like, they're faking injuries, blah, blah, blah. But being a coach and mocking a college football player who could seriously be injured, that's just disrespectful. And I'm sorry, I've lost all respect for Iowa. They have no national championship prospects whatsoever. And I'll go so far as to say, in fact, if they win the national championship, I will live 2 weeks this summer in Iowa. I'll do it. I'll do it because they have no hope. They have no hope. They do this every year.
Do I get to pick the city? Do I get to pick the city?
Done. I'll live in near the campus for 2 weeks over the summer. Get an Airbnb. They're not winning the championship. They have no prospect. All they do is ruin other team seasons and then get beat in the Big Ten championship. Or they're going to get trounced by an SEC team in the college football playoff.
Yeah, so. No, I think well said. You hit the nail on the head. Clifford's in that whole game. We win that game by 3 touchdowns. It's not even close. But you saw the coaches. You heard the comments. There's the viral clip going around of the fan in the stands who, I saw one tweet said that he looks like Max Baum from Always Sunny, but holding his shoulder, making fun of the kid on the ground, just absolute classless behavior.
One more thing I have to say. I have to get this off my chest.
Let's hear it.
You're the number 3 team in the nation, hosting the number 4 team in the nation. You're a 2.5-point favorite, and you storm the fucking field afterwards? You're the worst college in the world. Do you not know what an upset is? An upset storm the field? Come on. Act like you've been there before, Iowa. Act like you've been there. That's why you're not going to win. And that's why you're not going to win.
And they tried to save their face. They're posting videos of the fans. So Ellis Brooks stayed out on the field after the game, said he wanted to kind of soak it in and use it as motivation. And they have videos of fans walking by shaking his hand. And they're trying to play that off as, hey, Iowa, they do have class, and that's what they're about, and trying to ignore everything else that happened throughout the entire fucking course of the game.
Yes.
So I know I didn't listen in on the Franklin presser today, but I got a tweet here. So apparently he went on about a 5-minute rant about everything that kind of transpired. So Franklin said, "Put yourselves in the shoes of a parent. Your son is down on the field with the injury and your stadium is booing him. I just told you PJ Mustipher is out for the year with an injury and we're booing. Is that good for college football?" So fuck Iowa. Fuck the Hawkeyes.
And I get it. I
pray to God we run the table and we play them in fucking Indy, like the Lucas Oil Stadium with them. I pray for that.
I'd buy tickets to that. I would take out a loan to go to that game and get good seats.
So
I was just about to say something and it slipped my mind. But yeah, so the whole thing is like, it's not like they're booing injury. They're not running this up-tempo offense where like everyone's gassed and they're like limping, getting all cramped and stuff. It was just one big play and then an injury would happen. The next play, they were literally averaging 2.4 yards per carry. It wasn't like they were going to do anything.
Yeah.
And then you just add on Taquan Roberson and it was just the ultimate nightmare. We've been living for the past 3 days.
Yeah.
Which is also why this podcast is late.
Yeah. Again, not to add, salt to injury, but also just seeing Bama go down. It's just one of those years where it's wide open and it's, hey, this is the year we seize the day, we take care of it. And granted, we're still in control of our own destiny. You went out, you can still get in. Doesn't change the fact that our schedule's tough, but you just got to hope that, just pray that this bye week was rightly timed to get everyone healthy, get them back on track. And it was clear as day, as much as of a riff as Clifford's gotten, not just this year, but last year as well. I think everyone was praying that he was coming back in that second half. And I don't think you've seen that type of hopes and prayers and commentary for a guy like Sean Clifford, but everyone very quickly realized how vital he is to this team's success when he went out of that ball game. And I don't know if it's just that that Roberson just was ill prepared, not ready to go, but I think that the offense truly is different with Cliff in that game. And
we were talking about him using his legs. 3 rushes, 36 yards, touchdown. Like he was
and after that rushing touchdown too, that was right when they were in the groove and we were moving the ball, we were shutting them down, and it just all went to shit. And it's just tough. It was tough to watch. It was tough.
So we're heading into a bye week. We're gonna end the negative vibes right here and back with some positive vibes. Penn State not gonna lose a game the rest of the season. We're gonna go through right now our mid-season awards. We're gonna give out MVP, the defensive player of the year so far, most surprising player so far, and what we consider our coolest play of the year. So, Davey, you go first with your MVP so far this season.
So my MVP, and I know I touched on it a little bit, but I gotta give it to Sean Clifford. And I think in its truest form, it's not just the guy with the best stats where you would look at a Dotson or someone like that. But I think you saw in its truest form that when he was out of the game, he's truly most valuable to this team, as much as we may or may not want to admit it. He's vital to this team's success, and everyone in Nittany Nation right now is praying that he's good. And I'm hopeful that the fact that Franklin didn't mention, like he did with Mustapher, that he's out for an extended period of time, you're hoping that we squeak by Illinois and then he's good to go for Ohio State. So hopefully that no news is good news. But if you look at him over the course of the year, about a 67% completion percentage, just under 1,500 yards,
which was our episode 1. We talked about it. We were really worried about his accuracy, and it has improved so much, and way above what I expected him to be.
Way above expectations. Just out the 1,500 yards, 11 tutties, 5 picks, 2 of them coming last week. But overall,
one was the
ball. So.
Picks are, I want to do a new interception like breakdown of what interception, because he had like one Hail Mary interception,
if it's
one bobbled one.
If it's a punt pick, doesn't count.
Yeah, like he had a couple. I mean, he's definitely thrown at least 3 all his fault, but there were 2 that were debatable. I'm gonna try to patent that stat of categorizing interceptions.
I'm with you. And then carrying the ball, 44 carries, just south of 200 yards, 2 tutties. One of them, that big one against Iowa. So making timely decisions with his legs. And again, just hope he's good. Hope it's not severe and that he's back, because we need him this year.
Yeah, he's a true leader of that offense. I think all the guys on the line, all the weapons, they all respect him, and they really need him to succeed. So my MVP is going to be guy you mentioned, Jahan Dotson. So just his gift to the team. He's averaging over 30% of Penn State's total receiving yards. He's 50% of their receiving touchdowns and over 32% of their total receptions this year. So this guy's 1/3 of our passing offense, essentially. In the nation, out of all the wide receivers in the nation, versus zone coverage, he's 3rd in receptions, 0 drops. Him and Jalen Cooper are the only receivers in the top 5 that have 0 drops with the most receptions. He's 4th in the nation in yards, tied for 2nd in the country in first downs, and he's tied for 3rd in the country in touchdowns. So this guy is Fred Blintkoff Award finalist. I think he's honestly going to win it. I'm trying to think. Maybe we always say Olave, but I really don't see anyone more valuable to a team's offense than him.
Yeah.
So I think he is a definite finalist for the Blintkoff, and has helped this team in some very, very tough situations when they need to get bailed out, and his athleticism really bailed them out for sure.
Yeah. And for me, dude, I think that's one of the cool things about college football too, is just seeing over the course of the 4 years or 3 years, however long they're there, how they progress.
Yeah.
Looking at when he coming out of Nazareth, good decorated high school career, but when he started, he was playing second fiddle, even third fiddle to Hamler. You had Jawan Johnson on the outside. Say, hey, is this guy gonna just be a prime, good slot receiver for us to get some key catches? And then to see him where he's at now, where he's being named as one of the best receivers in college football. Just to see that progression just over such a short time span is just so cool to watch.
And so I picked out zone coverage on purpose because he had the most targets in zone coverage, and that just shows his football IQ in his route running. Like for zone coverage, he knows where those gaps and those holes are going to be in the zone, and he's just making Clifford's job so much easier, which helps his accuracy, confidence, the whole train we were talking about all season.
Yeah.
So we both went offense first. Who's your defensive player of the year?
So for me, I'm going to give the nod to Jaquan Brisker.
Yeah, love him.
Senior safety, JUCO transfer from Lackawanna, really come into his own. Was again another highly decorated safety at the beginning of the year, receiving preseason All-American awards, and he's lived up to the hype, and every bit of it, and then some. 25 tackles on the year, 2 picks, 3 pass deflections, some timely interceptions, some timely pass breakups. And that Auburn game, that key 4th and goal stop where it should have been an offensive PI, but just lockdown coverage, man. He's been all over the place. He's been a key cog to that defense. He's been a leader and just all around improving his draft stock. He may not be a 1st round pick, but he could be a 2nd, 3rd, maybe even a day 2 guy. But he's one of those guys. He's going to be in the NFL for 8 to 10 years, making an impact on the defense. He's that good. Because
every play he makes, it's a huge play. You know what I mean? It's like a 3rd and 9, and he's the one coming off his receiver and making the play. You know what I mean? Like he's reading the offense very well. So yeah, that's a phenomenal play.
You never catch him out of position.
Yeah.
Really. Yeah, you do with as good as the secondary is. You see other guys, you see Castro Fields get beat a little bit, but Brisker just seems to always be in the right, whether it's stopping the run or in the pass game. He's just always right where he needs to be.
His knowledge of route concepts is just phenomenal. I wonder if he played wide receiver in high school, because he just knows like route concepts and where to break and when the receivers are going to come. And it's awesome to watch.
Yeah. Great instincts.
I was going to go secondary again, but I'm going to go with, since you picked my most impactful player, I want to pick yours. I'm going to go with AK.
Oh,
I've mentioned his ranks in the Big Ten. He's top 5 in everything besides sacks, which he should have so many more.
Mm-hmm.
But here are his rankings in the entire FBS. So this kid come from Temple, coming into the Big Ten, facing tougher competition in the Big Ten. He's tied for 6th in the nation with 25 total pressures, 4th in the nation in QB hits with 9. I think that's actually 12. Yeah, 12 QB hits. Top 15 in the country with a 25% win rate. So that means he's winning 1/4 of every pass rush that he attempts. And he's a top 20 PFF pass rush grade with an 89.1. So literally a top 10 edge rusher in the nation, transferring to Penn State, proving that he can play with the big dogs, and just absolutely dominating.
And 2 block field goals. 2 block field goals.
I always forget those. The 3rd phase. 2 blocked field goals as well.
Yeah. Delightful surprise, Mr.
Which are huge, game-changing plays too. So yeah, I mean, I like all the respect in the world to this kid, because I feel like he's grinded his ass off to get to where he is right now, transferring from Temple and really working hard to be like, hey, I belong here. And I think his draft stock's only going to rise because of that. Just proving that he can get better and better facing tougher and tougher competition.
Yeah, especially in a position group where at the beginning of the season, a lot of questions surrounding the depth there, where we've been pretty solid in years past. Like we mentioned, again, in episode 1, losing Shaka Tony and Adafe Owe, who's crushing it in Baltimore. Dude's a fucking monster. But beginning of the season, he wasn't even slated to be first on the depth chart. Adisa Isaac was going to be in that top edge rusher, and a lot of high hopes for him. He goes down with the torn Achilles, and it's, hey, AK, you ready to step up?
Yeah.
And right out the gate, he fucking did. So it's been cool to watch. And again, just seeing him progress from that 2 different, showing that he can do it in first the Group of 5 conference and now Power 5 conference, and be able to still get after the quarterback. It's been huge.
I think that's for me, that's a huge plus for in terms of like projecting to the NFL, like how you can scale your skill level up to the competition that you're facing every time. So I think he could be a day 2 pick for sure. Possibly on the Eagles.
Oh, I love that. Get out of here, Derek Barnett.
Yeah. Don't get me started. So this kind of ties in. He was kind of my most surprising player, but I do have another one. I want to hear yours first. Are you offense, defense for most surprising?
Defense, man.
All right, we're sticking with defense.
Opposite of my guy Kwani B. I'm going with Ji'ayir Brown, or Tiggs, as they call him around campus.
Yeah, I love that.
Another Lackawanna college grad transfer. He's one of those guys where in that position, there was a lot of questions coming this season. They didn't know who was going to be pegged there. It was between him. You had Keaton Ellis there. Shout out our boy Dez. Tyler Ferguson. So a lot of competition there, but he overtook that spot. He's got 19 tackles on the year, 3 picks, 3 pass deflections. And he's one of those guys where they may entertain with the COVID role where he could come back next year and he could fill that void left by Brisker.
Yeah.
So we mentioned before, a lot of decisions to be made at the end of this year. I know looking ahead here, but with that extra year eligibility, it's got to be a 2-way street where A, they want to come back, and B, Penn State wants to make the room for him and bring him back.
Yeah.
He could be a candidate there where he could come back for a second year full-time starter and continue to up his draft stock. But for me, he's been a huge surprise and a delightful surprise to holding down the other side of the field back there with Brisker.
Is he tied for first in interceptions or tied with Brisker with 3?
I think he may have the lead. I think Brisker's got 2. So Brown's got 3. So he's in the lead.
3. Yeah. He's been balling out this year, which again, most surprising for sure. I'm going to stay in the secondary. I'm going to go Joey Porter Jr.
Okay. My guy,
yeah, he's surprised me by far the most this year. I did not expect him to be this, I don't want to say a leap, but this steady throughout the entire season. I thought he was going to have some ups and downs, but he's been playing phenomenal. He's been the most targeted defensive back on the team, 30 targets this year, allowed 19 receptions, but only 181 yards. So that's 9.5 yards per reception, which is the second least amount among all Penn State D-backs behind Jaquan Brisker. Has not allowed a touchdown against him all season. Has his first collegiate interception, which was that incredible diving attempt on the sideline. Love that.
Just snuck in bounds on that one.
Yeah, that was such a sick interception. 2 pass breakups. And the cherry on top, he's tied for 4th in solo tackles on PFF with Mustafa at 22. And he's also tied for 6th with Curtis Jacobs in defensive stops at 10. So not only can he cover, he can tackle as well. Young guy. I think sky's the limit for this kid. I think he could be a really, really good quarterback coming into his junior year next year. Maybe be a day 1 pick. Potentially, but that's all projection. But right now, he's having a phenomenal season, and keep it up, Joey Porter Jr. for sure.
And hopefully setting the tone to kind of put us with the same ranks of an LSU for cornerback U. I know we're tagged already with LBU, but got him coming in. Pretty cool scene with all the mourning and sadness that, with the loss, but pregame you had his dad, former NFL linebacker Joey Porter, in the stands, and LeVar Arrington was there. So they had some pics of them getting together. Next year coming in, we got Donald Driver's son coming in. So hopefully we keep gathering all these NFL legends.
I love Donald Driver. I love that dude.
Donald Driver Jr. We'll have him pretty soon, but I think
that should be my favorite player on Penn State.
Yeah,
before he even gets here.
I know. He'll be a starter on Sundays somewhere at some point. He's that good. So it's just cool to watch and excited to see him progress, not only the rest of this year, but also next year.
Yeah, I totally agree. And then our final award for the midseason Awards, coolest play of the year. What you got?
I'll go back to week 1. I'm going with the Brisker pick against Wisconsin.
Oh, yeah.
Part of this for me is I just, as much as it pained me to hear him on Saturday, I do love Gus Johnson, and I just love the calls that he makes.
Yeah.
Unless it's for Iowa on that last touchdown, which I muted as soon as I heard him start saying. But that week 1 pick was pretty cool. Their backs against the wall, 4th and goal in the red zone, and just seeing that defense come up with the big stop that they hadn't gotten in previous years. But for Brisker, a guy like Brisker to get that pick, and just the combination of the play and the call from Gus Johnson for me,
and the moment
gave me chills. Yeah, and the moment just gave me chills.
Yeah, I narrowed these down to the few plays that I remember jumping off of the couch, being like, "Holy shit! Like, let's go!" And I think in terms of coolest, it has to be that Lucetta one-hander pick 6 again when we played Ball State. When I saw that live, I was like, what did I just witness? Jesse Lucetta, his versatility just still blows my mind week to week. And yeah, I think that was one of the cooler plays in not Penn State history, but in the past couple of years.
Yeah.
One-hander from a D end, bringing it back. Love it.
Yeah,
love to see the big men score.
Absolutely.
All right, so obviously Penn State has a bye week this week, so we can recover from our emotional and physical wounds. But Dave and I will battle once again. Week 7, Big Ten Betting Bonanza, right up next. Week 7 of the Big Ten Betting Bonanza, and I continue to stay in the garbage can as I went 1-2 last week. Absolutely awful. And I also forgot to mention last week that I canceled out. If you get one wrong, it's -1. It's now just 0. Otherwise, it would be a bloodbath. So last week, Dave, 2-1. He hit the over on the Ohio State Maryland game, which Ohio State could have. They were 3 points away from hitting the over themselves. Nebraska plus 3.5, which you squeaked out by the hook. And then your last bet we'll talk about with my 3. I had Ohio State minus 11.5 first half. Bing. And then after that, it's just toilet. Under 40.5 in the Iowa Penn State game. Missed. And then I went big balls to the walls. Took the Illinois money line, which Dave took Illinois plus 10.5, and they ended up losing 24-0 to Wisconsin. So that's how our betting season's going. How's yours going?
Not even a check swing on that. That's just a straight out whiff.
That was 3 straight pitches right down the middle where I tried to launch it over the stadium and just struck out. Yeah, 3 strikes out of there. So the total right now with the new standing, I'm still getting my buttocks knocked in. Dave's plus 10. I'm plus 4. So I'm sticking with my strategies of a couple singles, couple doubles, and then bomb shots. I'm still going for bomb shots. I'm not stopping.
You're not living if you're not going for bomb shots.
No, sir. So you can go first since you're killing me. And we have very limited games this week, by the way.
Very limited slate. Tough to pick.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games pick from. So we're going to overlap on some, I imagine, but I hope we don't overlap on my home run.
I'm going back to the well with Wisconsin. Yeah, you beat Illinois 24-0, but you're not getting by Army by 2 scores. I'm taking the Army Black Knights plus 14.
No, baby. Run that triple option. Nothing they can stop
option, it. Baby. Eat up the clock. Keep it close. Lose by 10. I'm good with it.
I mean, Wisconsin, they were the ones who beat Illinois. What was it, 24-0?
24-0, yeah.
Yeah. They're not blowing teams out by. I would not. Yeah, come on. That's a good bet. I had that same game. I'm going to take the over 39, just because I just think that's a so low. Wisconsin's actually going to score. And I think Armory's actually going to score. So I think it's going to go over 40 for sure. Maybe like a 14-28 type game. Would that get me there? Yeah, before too.
Maybe 29-15. Give me that.
Yeah,
I got to hit that plus 14.
There we go. We'll go 30 to 50, 30-14. How about that? Make it a little
all right.
Make it even. That I wouldn't hit actually. Or I would hit, yeah. So we're both on that game. What's your second?
So I'm going to stick with, but go again with Sparty. I'm going to take Sparty minus 4.5 at the Hoosiers. Noon kickoff. I think Mel Tucker's just got that team rolling. I think that should be another easy win. Line's a little sketchy, but I'm still sticking with fuck sketchy lines.
No more sketch lines.
I won't stand.
I'm with you. Sparty minus 4.5.
Woo!
Simply because Jack Tuttle.
Agreement.
Jack Tuttle, I can't respect that guy after AK literally just body slammed him into the dirt. One of the funniest sacks I've ever seen in my life. So yeah, I'm with you. Sparty minus 4.5. Let's ride. No more sketch spreads. No more.
No more sketch spreads. I won't stand for it.
Done with it. So you got 2-1. You got 2 singles on the board. What's your last
I don't know if he classified as a home run. There's no rhyme or reason to it. It's just gut feeling. So I got Nebraska, Minnesota over 44.5.
44.5?
Yeah.
Where are you seeing that? DraftKings?
I thought I saw it on DraftKings.
Yeah. Maybe it went down. I just saw 48. We'll give you. Wait, are you saying over?
I'm saying over.
Okay. We'll give you over 44.5. Is that what you said first?
Yeah. Yeah, 44.5.
All right. Even though you're beating me, I'll still give you benefit of the doubt here. Over 44.5, Nebraska, Minnesota. Has Minnesota been? I feel like they haven't been scoring that much.
They haven't. That's one of those. Hey, I'm taking a shot in the dark. Follow me.
Yeah, not really scoring too much. But I mean, yeah. Again, I got
a little bit of a buffer.
Yeah, you do. Bigger buffer than me. So I need another home run pick. And I think everyone knows my feelings about the Iowa Hawkeyes by now. I think they're going to have a letdown game. Purdue's going to fucking beat them at home. They're plus 11.5 going into Iowa. I'm taking the goddamn money line. Boilermakers crushing the Hawkeyes.
Boiler up.
I'm betting against number 2 Iowa until they lose because they will. They will. They will not win out and go to the college football playoff. I guarantee.
Love it.
Every time I'm betting a plus whatever money line against Iowa. Rest of the season. Spoiler alert.
Boiler up, baby. Boiler up.
All right. So that is the surprisingly electric bye week episode. We got Illinois next week, right?
Illinois fighting Illini, noon kickoff.
So we'll be back with our regular Wednesday podcast. Thank you all again for watching. Again, appreciate it so much. And make sure to follow and subscribe on our YouTube channel.
Go Lions, baby.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching and tuning in to Whiteout Weekly. We will be back every week with more Penn State news and information. And once again, I cannot thank you enough for spending your time with us. Lucci signing out.
See you guys.